Despite the fact that it was his day off, Howard Greene woke up earlier than usual. This was partially due to the throbbing headache he had, thanks to having a bit too much to drink the day before. Getting out of bed, Howard grimaced and looked around the room. The mess inherent in bachelor life was all too obvious. There was dust on the furniture. Flowers on the windowsill had virtually dried up because no one had watered them in so long. Howard divorced his wife about a year ago when she suspected him of cheating. Vanessa couldn't exactly prove anything at the time, but she didn't really try all that hard, to be honest. Their relationship has long been more of a burden to both spouses, failing to make them feel any positive emotions. Fortunately, the couple never had children, and therefore the divorce was almost painless. Howard, I'll give you some advice. Figure out who you are and who you want to be, what you want from this life, Vanessa said instead of a goodbye. Howard didn't pay much attention to the words of the woman that shared his bed and home for many years. But now, looking at the mess in his bachelor's pad, Howard realized that if this home had a woman living in it, things would be different. He used to have it all just recently. Tasty dinners, a clean home, a happy life, and a warm bed. But thanks to the many wrong decisions he made, Howard was now 44 years old and all alone. Sighing sadly, the man walked into the kitchen to make himself coffee. But just as Howard took his first sip of the scalding tart drink, there was a loud and persistent knock at the door. Only one person in the world could knock like that, and the owner of the house knew who it was. Opening the door, Howard was happy to see his longtime friend, Andy, whom he'd known since school. Unlike Howard, Andy was happily married. The friends hugged and went into the kitchen, where Howard made Andy his favorite lemon tea. "So, are you still single? Maybe you should get back with Vanessa. It would definitely make your life better," Andy suggested, thinking worriedly at his friend's tired face. "No, we can't get back what we had. And to be honest, I don't want to. I like living alone," Howard lied without batting an eye. And it wasn't that easy to deceive his friend, who immediately saw through Howard's lies. "And what about your first love, Howard? Where is she now? What's her name?" Andy asked, trying to fill in the gap in his memory. "Megan Jackson. We didn't part well. It's been 25 years. She's probably happily married by now and has her life all figured out. I don't think she'll even remember me anymore," Howard replied. "What if you're wrong? What if she's been waiting for you all these years?" Andy objected, which surprised his friend even more. Shrugging his shoulders in bewilderment, Howard tried to switch to another topic, since this one was making him feel very uncomfortable. Howard and Megan had known each other since elementary school and started dating in their senior year of high school. Everyone thought they'd get married right after graduation, but then they started college and student life got into their heads, especially Howard's. He never missed a single college party. By that time, the couple was already living together, renting a cozy house on the outskirts of the city. Everything could have been fine if Howard hadn't started acting out. Megan turned a blind eye on his cheating and partying for a long time, but eventually she got tired of being betrayed, so she had an honest conversation with Howard. Unfortunately, being young and arrogant, Howard got mad, arguing that Megan had been holding him back and trying to control his every move. The conversation didn't go as Megan had hoped, and the young Howard slammed the door and went to yet another party. Burying her face in the pillow, Megan spent the whole night crying, and in the morning, she packed up her things and left. Deep down, Megan hoped that Howard would come to his senses, call her up, and ask her to come back. But he never did. He was busy conquering one woman's heart after another. Perhaps Howard did realize his mistakes after the breakup, but did nothing to rectify them. Even Howard's parents constantly told their son that he needed to protect and take care of his family. Otherwise, it would fall apart. "Son, I think Vanessa could have left you because she felt unloved. You didn't care about her. You didn't even buy her flowers. Women need to feel important and loved," said Mrs. Greene, who's been in a happy marriage for 45 years. The elderly woman knew what she was talking about, since Howard's father always made sure his wife felt his love, and every week he surprised her with beautiful flowers and lovely gifts. Unfortunately for Mrs. Greene, her son didn't inherit his father's romantic talents and treated women more like servants rather than partners of admiration and love. Even now, when Andy mentioned Megan, Howard felt embarrassed that over the years, he hadn't even bothered to call his ex-girlfriend and find out how she was doing. Therefore, immediately after his friend left, the man sat down at the computer and started looking for Megan on social media. Unfortunately, 2 hours of searching gave no results. Howard never found any trace of Megan Jackson. He got the impression that she had literally disappeared into thin air, although she could have, of course, gotten married and moved to another city. Taking the school yearbook, the man began to look at the photographs of him and Megan, where they were dancing at the prom and kissing under the festive fireworks. Now, it all seemed so distant that it involuntarily made Howard feel nostalgic and long for the years gone. Wanting to brighten up his loneliness, an inveterate bachelor logged onto a popular dating site and began to methodically study the women's profiles picked for him by the moderator. Howard wrote countless messages, thinking that he'd increase his chances of success this way. Someone answered him, while others stubbornly ignored his messages. Busy chatting online, Howard didn't even notice when the evening passed. In all this time, only one woman showed a genuine interest in Howard. Her name was Stephanie, and judging by the information on her page, she was a single 44-year-old brown-haired woman looking for her soulmate. Despite the fact that there was no picture on Stephanie's profile, Howard was surprised to realize that he immediately felt a strong attraction to her. Howard was longing for a woman's attention, and the stranger wrote a lot and she was interesting, which is why talking to her made Howard feel better. That night, the man didn't sleep a wink, staring impatiently at the screen, waiting for a new message from Stephanie. Howard talked to the mysterious stranger without a face for a week, during which Howard sent her countless messages, asking her to meet him. To his disappointment, Stephanie kept rescheduling their date, as if she was waiting for something to happen. Finally, when Howard lost all hope of ever getting to see this woman, she set up an appointment herself. Stephanie offered to meet in a cozy cafe downtown. Howard remembered it from his university years. He had once celebrated his birthday there with Megan and her friends. Feeling excited before the important meeting, the man literally couldn't find a place for himself, and every now and then glanced at his watch. Finally, when the evening came, Howard put on his best suit and, having bought a bouquet of roses on his way, went to meet the mysterious woman. Approaching the cafe, the man couldn't help but feel an emotional uplift. Howard stood for a second in front of the door, and then, taking a slow breath, he went inside. Stephanie was seated at a table in the corner and waved her hand in a friendly manner. Howard came closer, and when he saw the woman close up, he could hardly keep his balance, dropping the bouquet. Other visitors looked at the weird man, whose face was now covered in tears. No one knew what had happened, and only the woman sitting at the table with the young man, who could be her son, knew the reason for Howard's strange behavior. The fact was that it was Megan who was sitting in front of Howard. The woman, of course, recognized the man from her past. "Is that really you? And is this who I think it is?" Howard asked, with the voice trembling with excitement, pointing to the young man sitting next to her. "Yes, that's what you think. This is my son, Stefan. He's 25 years old," replied Megan, who registered on a dating site under a fake name. "Why did you do all this? You knew it was me from the very beginning," Howard asked in surprise. "I wanted to see your reaction, but you let me down. You're the same womanizer as before, Howard. You haven't changed one bit. You still only think about yourself. Goodbye. You can go back to living your life as you please, but without us in it," Megan answered with disappointment in her voice. Then, letting the man know that the conversation was over, she got up from the table and went towards the exit together with her son. As she was leaving, Megan tried not to step on the red roses lying on the floor. Looking at Stefan, Howard felt dizzy, and in order not to fall, leaned on the table. Howard's reaction was caused by the fact that he looked exactly like he did when he was young, which meant that Stefan was most likely Howard's son. Other customers at the cafe had no idea that a family drama was unfolding right before their eyes. It began 25 years ago and ended just now. Howard stood in the middle of the cafe for a long time. He couldn't stop crying as he watched Megan and Stefan leave. They clearly expressed their complete contempt of the man. Howard felt that he got what he deserved. Belated repentance absorbed him, making him realize that he'd lost his beloved woman and son forever.